Hey, cervical scar tissue story part 2. So I asked the midwife after my sister has her baby, and I'm like, I've never heard of cervical scar tissue. Is this typical? And she said, well, I actually learned about it from some lay midwives, and I hate that phrase, but some elderly midwives, and that it was common knowledge amongst midwives, but not necessarily physicians. And I thought, well, that's nuts. I mean, how many times had I seen clients in what I thought was like absolute active labor, we're going to have a baby soon, only to get there and say you're 1 centimeter dilated. And they look at me and their contractions are coming every 2 or 3 minutes. They're lasting a full minute. Like all the 411 is happening. And yet someone's telling us that they're only 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters. And it just didn't make sense. And the number of clients that I had seen in that pattern that then went on to have cesareans was a little frightening at that point. Maybe not frightening, but confusing. So I went to the midwives in my community, and sure enough, they were like, yeah, it's something we know about. It's not in our training, but people have kind of figured it out. And my one midwife friend described it as it feels like a uncooked grain of rice on the cervix, on the outside of the cervix. And it was explained to me that sometimes this happens from procedures like, the freezing, like I'd mentioned, but there's others, LEEP procedures, even sometimes having an IUD placed because they put a clamp on the cervix and can puncture the cervix in order to dilate it. And that this also can cause scar tissue. Next, I took it to one of my favorite OBs in town, and he said he had also had some inkling about it, but it was not in his training. I started doing a lot of vaginal births after cesarean. And so I worked with this physician, and we started having a conversation about what if we kind of track this? So we had 21 VBAC clients, vaginal birth after cesarean, and they had all had cesareans for failure to progress, which means that their cervix didn't open. Needless to say, 19 of them, when they went into labor, had this pattern that I spoke about. And the physician was actually able to find scar tissue on their cervix and dissolve the scar tissue, and they all had vaginal deliveries. We never published this study, but I'm really proud of the fact that I was the first person to ever write an article about cervical scar tissue in the United States. And now if you Google cervical scar tissue, there's all kinds of information out there.